Hey guys, Kevin Smart for Awkward, Season 5, Episode 6, Don't Dream It's Over. And I was definitely looking forward to this episode. I mean, we had a really great cliffhanger last week. I really didn't know how this episode, what was going to happen in this episode. And it was also one that just from the promo, I knew I was really looking forward to because I've been wanting to see this episode for a while, which I thought was really interesting because about 85% of this episode was a dream sequence, and I think that's really cool the way they did that. I definitely really love that, and it is right up there with Now You See Me Now I Don't as the best episode of the season. I think this was a fantastic episode, one of the best by far, and also by far Jillian Rose Reed's best performance on this show. Holy shit, she was incredible. As much as I love the Jenna storyline, Tamara's storyline in this episode, I think, she really stole the show in all her scenes, and I'm going to get to that. Starting off with the first scene, because basically Tamara's obviously crushed over what happened with Adam. She's really upset about it, and she can't stop thinking about him, and Jenna decides to help her out by watching what they think is an episode of Sex and the City, but it turns out to actually be the porn version that Kevin gave to Lacey basically to turn her on, and they had sex. Now that was very funny when they realized that, but this basically gets Tamara to think that Adam might have been her Mr. Big, aka the one, and Jenna's saying, oh, there's no such thing as the one, and that you can't just pick one specific guy, and Tamara tells her that she has no idea what she's talking about, and that she basically is the reason all of her relationships have ended, and that's, it's her fault. And Jenna really starts to think about this very hard. And I thought that was very interesting that Tamara brought that up, and basically, for the rest of the episode, Jenna basically focuses on this. She wants to do whatever she can to focus on what's going on here. Tamara, meanwhile, is desperate to get Adam back. Right that second, she gets up, and she wants to do something about it. She decides to go into Jenna's car and I believe she went to Jenna's car. She goes to Jenna's car. She wants to go find Adam. She wants to go back to the base. She keeps trying to text him, and he's just not answering, and she wants to do whatever she can to find him, and basically that's what happens there. So Jenna sees what she thinks is Matty. She has a lot of questions going through her head. She wants to know if Matty still does have feelings for her and everything, and by the way, guys, what happened this episode was inevitable, and I think we all knew was going to happen, but I don't think they could have handled it better than they did in this episode. I mean, like I said, I really wanted them to handle this storyline very well, and I really think they handled it perfectly here. She sees what she thinks is Matty coming through the window. It's actually Jake. He's looking for Gabby. He has no idea where she is, and Jenna brings up the question of, when she and Jake dated, and I love that they brought up the fact that they don't even talk about that anymore, because, yeah, that's so early season 1, and it feels like it was so long ago. Like, it feels like it was a completely different show, but if you guys remember, there was a time when Jenna and Jake dated in season 2. It was from, season 1 to season 2, and they eventually broke up, but I like they talked about this, and, she asked Jake if she was the reason why they broke up and everything, and he just doesn't seem to want to answer her. He seems much more concerned about finding Gabby, figuring out where she went, and basically realized that because of how drunk Gabby is, she's actually in the front seat of the car with Tamara, and Tamara's driving to find Adam, and Gabby's there, and Gabby actually wasn't annoying in this episode, because she wasn't crazy like she was in the last episode. Like I said, what they did with their last episode I thought was funny, but it seemed like something they were going to do for Lissa, and they did it with Gabby. But I thought she was very funny in this episode. I like seeing her interactions with Tamara. And also, very good advice that she gives Tamara in this episode, definitely. So Tamara tells her that she can come along, but first they have a few errands that they need to do, and that's basically what they plan on doing with that. So Jenna basically is sitting on the bed. She's trying to think about, if Tamara was right with what she was saying about if she was the one that ruined all these bad relationships, and that's the reason why she's had so many. And she decides to have a dream that's basically like Sex in the City. She is in, like, a tutu, like, in the Sex in the City intro. And yes, I know the Sex in the City intro. No, I do not watch the show. My mom is an absolutely huge fan of Sex in the City, so I've seen a lot of it because she has it on TV a lot. And I've never seen the show. I never will, probably, but it's a show for girls. That really is what it is. I mean, I think guys, maybe would get into it, but I'm not someone that would get into that, definitely. But I like seeing that. So this was really fun to see. Jenna kind of picture her life as a TV show. Definitely, I like seeing that. Because everything's exaggerated in this world. Basically, she's wearing a pink tutu, which they keep making fun of, which I thought was very funny. There's some random guy in a hot dog costume, and I thought that was funny too. But basically, she's with Tamara, Sadie, and Lissa, and she's basically talking to them. I don't remember the names of the girls from Sex and the City, and I don't plan on remembering their names. I know one of them was Miranda and Carrie, but that's all I really remember. I did watch the Carrie Diaries when it was on CW. Pretty good show of what I've seen of it. I have seen that because I was interested in it. I checked it out. But I haven't seen Sex and the City and probably never will, so don't even ask me. But basically, she has this conversation with them, and she starts to talk about how, they talk about how she's terrible at relationships, and she says she's not bad because she's had so many of them. And they tell her how, if she was good at relationships, she would only have one. And Jenna says that that's stupid and that she's not the reason. And then she sees Luke, who it was awesome to see Luke again. You guys know that probably out of all the guys that Jenna's dated, Luke is probably my favorite. He's the most mature. He's the most, he's probably one of the best for Jenna. But we really see in this episode why each of these relationships didn't work out. And I definitely really like the scenes we get in this episode because just in these few scenes, we get a sense of why, they didn't work out like they wanted them to. And I definitely thought that was very well done. And I have to say, I really enjoyed seeing that. So basically, Tamara and Gabby, they're on the road. They're going to the base, and Gabby asks, what errands, but Tamara tells her that they're basically at the base, and she's calling Adam. He's not picking up. She's right at the base. She tries to go, but they have this strict rule that no one is allowed to visit anyone in the base from the hours of 12 to 6 a.m. So Tamara literally decides to wait in the car all night for him to show up because she wants to talk to him again. She wants to see him, and she's not sure if he's going to show, and she wants to do whatever she can to see him. So that's basically what she plans on doing. So Jenna and Luke talk, and I really like the scene with Jenna and Luke. I thought it was very mature, and all the scenes, for that matter, were very mature here, because they really give reasons as to why this relationship didn't work out, and it kind of makes you look at all these different relationships in a different way, and how they're all kind of connected, which I really like seeing. Basically, we see with Jenna and Luke that Luke tells her how basically she, did care about him, but she left him stranded, and like below 0 degrees, if you remember, on that ski trip to go help out Matty. And she claims it had nothing to do with Matty and that it wasn't about that and that she just wanted to help her friends and they were in a conflict. But Luke says that she did it for herself and she picked her friend's needs over him. And that's why they didn't work out, because she's always thinking about herself and kind of how selfish she is. And I kind of agree with Luke for that. She did kind of leave him stranded there. But if you remember, Luke was pretty pissed at her. And it was because of the fact that she wanted to go help out her friends. And I understand that. But she could have gone with Luke. She could have asked him to tag along, and she didn't do that. So yeah, I can understand Luke's point of view there. I definitely do understand that. Yes, I know this is Jenna's dream, and it's a figment of her imagination, but what we get of these guys, I truly feel is how they feel about Jenna as a person, is what we get of her in this is what we get of them in this episode. So Jenna talks with Sadie about what just happened, and Sadie tells her how Jenna's kind of a slut because she basically wants to be with these guys for just to feel good about herself, and that every single one of the guys she's been with just to feel good about herself, and she needs someone else to feel, so she can feel good about herself. She can't make herself feel happy, and that is kind of true with Jenna. Jenna's always kind of been this way, where she needs men to rely on her, or needs someone to rely on her, and it's hard to her to feel good about herself without having someone in her life, and we very much have seen that, and I thought that was definitely interesting what came up there, and Jenna really starts to think about that. So, Tamara and Gabby waiting at the base. Adam does finally show up, but it doesn't go as planned. It doesn't go like Tamara thinks it will go. She wants it to go a certain way, but it doesn't seem to be working out, really, and basically what ends up happening is she goes up to Adam, and she tells him how she wants him back, and how, she wants to redo things, and how she, things went completely out of, things went completely not the way she wanted to, but Adam does not want to listen to her. I like that Adam actually put his foot down and said, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to just go back into this relationship with you for no reason. And he tells her the real reason he's upset is because he gave her his grandmother's ring and she accepted. That's why that's why he's so pissed at her, because this ring obviously meant a lot to him. And I liked how serious they handled this. They've been handling it in a kind of immature way. But like I said, this definitely had a potential to get very serious, and it got very deep in this episode, and we really see why Adam truly cared about Tamara. Because this was someone that he's probably wanted to give that ring to for a very long time, and he felt like Tamara was the right girl to give it to, and now he's given it to her, and she really didn't seem to care, and now he's realizing that this whole proposal was pointless, and he just didn't want to go through with it, and that she really didn't want to go through with it, and that was completely pointless. And obviously he's pretty pissed, but also pretty hurt. Definitely, you can tell how hurt he is, and it's not really working, and basically that's what happens with that. So basically, after this happens, we basically see that Jenna confronts, and Gabby gives Tamara very interesting advice that I definitely really do agree with. She basically, first of all, I love that Gabby was saying that she was watching the show and that she was really enjoying it. I thought that was very funny. But she tells Tamara that when you break up with someone and when something's happened, there's no apology from Tamara. She hasn't tried to apologize at all. She hasn't said she's sorry, and she needs to, make it known that she is sorry and show him that she truly does care about him. And I do agree with Gabby that that is the best thing to do, and I definitely really like that. I like the bonding between Tamara and Gabby in this episode. It kind of came out of nowhere, but I hope we see more of it because I honestly really do like them as friends, definitely. Her and Jenna will probably never be the same again, but her and Gabby, I definitely really do like, I have to say. Her and Tamara, I definitely really do like. So Jenna then talks to Owen, who I completely forgot about. But yeah, Owen is a big part of this, because if you remember, Owen was a sophomore who Jenna took, the Virginia of, and she didn't realize he was a sophomore. And she talks about how, yeah, she did date Owen to make her feel good about herself, and that he made her feel happy, and that's kind of why she did it. But he claims that this really hurt him, and that there are things that he's talking about, and she has no idea what he's talking about because she doesn't listen, and she doesn't pay attention to what he's really saying. And I honestly do agree with what Owen is saying here. A lot of times when Jenna hears something, she only really hears what she wants to hear. And I definitely do agree with Owen on this one, that anytime, he might have told Jenna something, and she might not have really been listening to him because she just wasn't that interested, and she didn't care as much as he wanted her to. And I definitely do agree with that. I thought that was definitely very interesting that we heard him say that. And then we get into Colin, seeing Colin, of course, probably the worst guy that Jenna's ever dated, and you really see how much Jenna has matured in this scene, because she realizes why she doesn't understand why she ever dated him. And he claims it's because they had a connection, that he was very similar to her, and that she was kind of trying to find herself, and that pretty much is why she was with Colin. I definitely do agree with that. It was cool to see Colin again, not really much to say there. But Tamara then decides to, like I said, talk to Adam. It just doesn't really seem to be working very well at all. He really does not want to talk to her. And like I said, definitely she's trying to get his attention. It's not working. And that's when Gabby gives her that really good advice I was very happy about. And basically, Colin and Jenna, they keep talking, and Colin tells her how he, she can see how conceited he is and how much he really didn't care about her, and how she really only ever dated him because she wanted someone to date, and I definitely do agree with that. And I like the scene where Jenna's like, why did I ever date him? Because honestly, it's true. Why did Jenna ever date Colin? Because she was trying to find herself, and she didn't really realize who she was yet. And then, of course, we get into Matty, and she asks why she dated Colin, and Matty says because he was not like him, and that very much is true. If you remember, Jen and Matty had broken up at the time because she wanted to be with Colin. Colin was the complete opposite of Matty. He wasn't, popular as Matty was. He was an art major. He was very into that stuff, and Matty simply wasn't. And that's kind of why she wanted to be with Colin, and if you remember, that's what happened with that. So Jenna and Matty, basically, we see them having a conversation, and how that's basically what happens with that. And like I said, Tamara is still trying to talk to Adam, just nothing really seems to be working at this point. She's trying to do whatever she can to talk to him. It's not working, and it just doesn't really seem to be working at all there. So Jenna, Sadie, and Lissa talk one final time, and they talk about, and we get like a really good like Sex in the City moment, where she talks about what's been going on, and then she sees Matty, and in her head, she's picturing Matty. They're sitting down in the bed, and she basically telling Matty that the truth that she never really loved Colin, and why she really was with him, and she wants to tell him all this stuff. But then he blurts out the fact that he still wants to be with her, and that he still truly does care about her, and it pretty much is how Matty feels. I think deep down, he really does want to be with Jenna, and I was worried that they were going to handle this very badly, but no, they handled this very well here, because we don't actually see Matty in this episode. We only see what Jenna thinks he's thinking about, and I think that definitely is in the back of his mind. I don't think it's his main priority, but I think it is definitely in the back of his mind, and we'll have to see how that works out. And I definitely really liked that scene, I have to say, because you see how much Matty cares about her, and he says that, he asks if she still loves him, and she doesn't give him an answer, because obviously it's a dream, and that's what happens there. And then we get to what I think is the best scene we have ever seen from Jillian Rose Reed on this show. The only other time I've seen them handle Tamara as serious as they have is when her and Jake broke up. If you remember, the scene where her and Jake broke up in the campaign fail was very sad, and it was very well done, and I don't think we've seen that raw of emotion and that raw of acting from Jillian Rose Reed than we did in this scene. Holy shit, this scene was just incredible, and everything that Tamara's character stands for is in this scene, and I loved it. Basically, it's the morning now. Adam is running and basically doing military stuff. They're running in lines, they're running laps and everything. And Tamara wants to talk to him, and he tells her that this better be quick, and that she really doesn't want to talk to her. But she tells him how she truly feels, that when she went forth, with this wedding, she never really thought she loved him, and that it took her to break up with him, and that now she is very sorry about it and everything. And she basically tells him how she truly feels, and that she really does love him, and she really wants to be with him. But again, I really feel this has to do with her just wanting someone, and her wanting to be with someone. Because if she truly loved Adam, if she really wanted to be with him, she'd do more than just this. Obviously, this is a lot that she's doing, but if she truly loved him, she would marry him, and she wouldn't give him back the ring. She gives him back the ring because she realizes how much it matters to him, and how he might not actually even want to marry her right now, and I like what he tells her. He's actually not getting back together with her. He tells her straight out, no, I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. I can't forgive you. You put me through this. You put me through this. I'm not going to do this anymore. And he leaves. And honestly, I kind of feel like Tamara deserves it. Tamara, I understand that she's realizing that, she really does love this guy. But at the same time, I really do feel it's only because of the fact that she doesn't have anyone else in her life. And Jake goes to comfort her, and it gives us memories of the Jake horror days, definitely. We always get those scenes like that, and he's comforting her. Gabby comes over, and I like that Jake was like, you guys want to go get a room, and they're like, no, and he's like, oh, no, I meant to sleep, and he's like, if you guys want to do something else, and I thought that was pretty funny, but it seems like the Adam and Tamara plot is over, which is kind of sad. I do kind of feel like she's going to try to do something else, but we'll have to see. It seems like that's pretty much over, and it's kind of sad because it ended on a real downer. I mean, a plot that started off as kind of funny has ended off in a very dark way, and I didn't see that. I don't get me wrong, because I never saw this plot just staying funny. I saw this going in a very serious direction, but never the, what it did. And I think the, Jillian Rose Reed's performance, like I said, was so raw in this scene, and especially the scene where Adam leaves her. You can see how much she cares, and how she's crying, and how upset she is, and how alone she feels. You can see that she feels very alone after this scene, kind of like the one thing that she would have had after high school, and that, could keep her that memory and have her and, have him there is gone. That's gone now, and now you really see how crushed she is. And even though I think she does care about her friends, she knows that there's a possibility she might never see them again after high school, and it's very sad, but that does happen. Friends lose touch, and I think Tamara, like I said, is very worried about that, and you really see that in this scene. Now, the way this episode ends, I thought was phenomenal. I love the way this episode ended, because basically Jenna sees all her ex-boyfriends there. Jake, Colin, Owen, Luke, all of them, every single guy she's ever dated, and they talked to her about the reasons why she broke up with them, and they all connect to Matty. They all connect to her breaking up with them because of Matty. Like, she was with Owen because Matty was with another girl. And she couldn't kiss Matty. She was with Luke because he was more mature than Matty. She was with Colin because he was different from Matty. It all has to do with Matty. She was with Jake because she couldn't get Matty. Honestly, every single guy she dated was because of Matty, and I definitely do agree about that. And she realizes in this moment that she still has always loved Matty. She never stopped loving him. She truly does still love him, and she just hasn't realized it till now. And now she wants to go confront him and tell him that she does love him, and it looks like next week that's what's going to happen. And I have to say, like I said, I was worried on how they were going to handle this. I really felt they handled this very, very well here. I was definitely very impressed by that, and I really enjoyed seeing them handle this scene as well as they did. It was very well done, and especially because it was all a dream sequence, it was very psychological, really got into Jenna's head, and I definitely really liked the way that was handled. However, it looks like next week it might not work as well as Jenna wants to. You know, some people don't actually seem like they want to help out Jenna. They think that the whole Jake and Matty, you know, not Jake and Matty, Jenna and Matty thing, that's over, that they might not actually be together anymore, that they might not even have the potential to be together anymore, which I think is interesting. And we'll have to see how that works out next week. It doesn't seem like people are that optimistic about it. Even though Jenna wants them to be, it doesn't seem like they are. And I think that definitely is very interesting that they're not as optimistic as Jenna thinks they are. And we'll have to see where that goes. But like I said, guys, incredible episode overall. Really loved it. The dream sequences were fantastic. I really loved it, but I also really loved Tamara's performance. Now that Adam's gone, what is Tamara going to do? She pretty much has no direction in her life right now. What is she going to do from here on out? We'll have to see, because she obviously needs a plan after high school, and she has none. She doesn't have a single plan. She has not gone to any college. She has not gone anywhere she wants to. If you remember, she wanted to go to a college. She wanted to go to that college, but of course, you know, again, she fucked up because I believe she was drunk and she had a hangover and she was late, and that had happened. So Tamara hasn't gone to any college. She really has no direction whatsoever, and I honestly do see things going very bad for Tamara. I don't see things being in a positive direction like usual. I kind of see her storyline going in a more dark direction. I can't believe I'm saying that, but honestly, I do. I think now that Tamara hasn't gotten exactly what she's wanted and things aren't working out the way she wants to, maybe she's gonna get a bit darker. Maybe she's gonna get a little bit less optimistic about herself. I honestly don't know, but I just don't see things going very well for him. We'll have to see where that goes. Do you think Matty truly is still in love with Jenna? From the promo, I honestly don't know if he is. He doesn't seem like he's as interested in her, and that'd be a very interesting twist if Jenna is still in love with Matty, but Matty's not. That could be very interesting if we find that out. Maybe Matty just is, but he doesn't want to admit it. That very much could be a possibility. I'm really starting to like Gabby and Jake, I have to say. It's been kind of strange, but I liked him in this episode, definitely. I really saw chemistry between them. I saw why they were together, and I liked them overall, definitely. I thought they were cute enough, and I like the bonding they have with Tamara, and I hope they keep that, because I really like those two, especially Gabby and Tamara. I really like them bonding in this episode. I was very surprised I did. My really only complaint is that Alyssa was in this episode, but again, she had, like, nothing to do. She really had nothing to do. She was there because they needed another girl, and I wish they should have put Gabby there. That would have been made more sense if they put Gabby there, which they didn't, but they should have, just because, that's someone that Jake is dating now, and it probably would have made sense if they did that. Even put, like, Amber there. I don't want to see Amber ever again. I'm happy that they mentioned her once. I know they're trying to pretend like she never existed, but even put her there, I would have been fine with that. Lissa, I know that she dated Jake. I get that she dated Jake, and I get that Lissa's always been a friend to Jenna, but Gabby's with Jake now, and I was thinking maybe it'd make more sense to put Gabby there, which they didn't, and, they didn't decide to do that, but I don't know. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys saw this episode. Overall, guys, I thought this was by far one of the best episodes of the season. Absolutely loved it. It was very sad, but it was also a very insightful episode, and I definitely really liked that. I'm definitely interested in seeing where the next episode is going to go, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for tonight's episode of Blind Spot, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.